Hello everyone, I am Manali Reshamwala, Assistant Professor from LG Institute of Physiotherapy. Today I am going to talk about posture. It is a part of first year physiotherapy syllabus from Gujarat University of Exercise Therapy subject. Definition of posture. It is an attitude assumed by body either with the support during muscular inactivity or by means of coordinated action of many muscles working to maintain stability or to form an essential basis which is being adapted constantly to the movement which is superimposed upon it. To understand this definition, we also need to understand or we need to learn some of the types of the posture. So, the types of posture are mainly divided into active posture and inactive posture. Active posture is further subdivided into static posture and dynamic posture. Let's see first inactive posture in detail, as it is an attitude adopted for resting or sleeping. Minimal muscular activity is required for it. The only muscles will be working in this which are helpful for maintaining our body function, like of respiration and circulation. Other muscles are relaxed, other skeletal muscles are relaxed. So this position is mainly used to train general relaxation. Active posture, the integrated action of many muscles is required to maintain active posture, which may be static or dynamic. Static posture is a constant pattern of posture and is maintained by interaction of group of muscles which work together more or less statically to stabilize the joints in opposition to gravity or other forces. In erect posture, we can see each and every segments are stable on each other and they are equally or in equilibrium. For example, in standing. But in dynamic posture scenario is different, as in this posture, it requires to form an essential basis for the movement. Pattern of posture is constantly modified and adjusted to meet the changing circumstances which arise as a result of movement. For example, like in walking and running. To understand the posture, we also need to know the postural mechanism. Briefly, if we say it is mainly depend on muscles and nervous system. So let's see the muscles. The intensity and distribution of the muscle work, which is required for both static and dynamic posture, requires considerably with the pattern of posture and physical characteristic of the individual who assumes it. Most of the postural muscles are anti-gravity muscles, which helps us to maintain erect position. They are usually held our joints in extension position. They have specific characteristics. Like one, they are multi-pennant or fin-shaped, so their intensity is more, as well as they can create a huge range of motion. Second thing, it constitutes of more number of red fibers, thus they does not get fatigue easily. Here are some of the examples of anti-gravity muscles of human body. Nervous control. Nervous control is when posture is adopted or maintained. The main reason is neuromuscular coordination. Postural reflex. A reflex, by definition, is an afferent response to an afferent stimulus. What is afferent and efferent in postural reflex, as well as who maintains it? Let's see in detail. Afferent arises mainly from the varieties of sources like muscles, eyes, ears, joint structure, and sometimes skin sensation like from feet. They all arises from the receptors like in receptors, and they give information to the central nervous system. They coordinate it and further gives information to the effector organ, which are muscles or anti-gravity muscles in a case of posture reflex. Let's understand the pattern of posture. Both static and dynamic posture are built up by integrity of many reflexes which together make a posture reflex. Some of these component reflexes are born and some are conditioned, but are developed as a result of constant repetition of posture maintained by voluntary control. Some some postural reflexes are inborn, while some are known as conditioned reflex. The way we get habituated, we conditioned with such posture. To understand the posture, we have divided the pattern into good versus poor posture. So first let's understand the good posture. Posture is said to be good when it fulfills the purpose for which it is used with maximum efficiency and minimum effort. Here, the precise pattern of good posture vary with every individual. Here I'm giving example of static and dynamic posture. Like static posture is erect posture. Like in standing, perfect balance of one segment upon another segment can be seen and we can assess it very easily. Good posture is also aesthetically pleasing to eyes. But if we say about dynamic posture, they have constant readjustment in maintaining the efficiency of postural background throughout the process of movement. Thus, it becomes somewhat difficult to assess. But if we find out that the dynamic posture is a base of any erect posture like sitting and writing or walking, the alignment is usually seen like a vertical alignment, like with what we see in erect posture. But that cannot be same for every dynamic posture. There can be other movements also which may lead alignment of segments either inclined or horizontal. The way our alignment goes towards horizontal, the effect of gravity upon our body increases and thus our muscles also have to work or adjust accordingly. Let's see the development of good posture or the factors responsible for the good posture. There are mainly three factors: stable psychological background, good hygienic condition, and opportunity for plenty natural free movement. As we know that our mood is good, our posture will be much erect, standing, or extended position. But if we are sad, our posture will be more of flexed posture. That will be a poor posture. Then good hygienic condition. The more we are good and hygienic with nutrition, our skeletal system and everything develops well and we can assume good posture. Opportunity for plenty of natural free movements. The more of the movement or free range of motion or full range of motion we get, our posture will be also good. On the contrary, let's see the poor posture, which is an inefficient posture. It fails to serve the purpose for which it is designed. Unnecessary amount of muscular effort is used to maintain it. Thus, the muscle work required, as well as there may be increase in spinal curvature, which leads to strain on ligaments and sometimes cramping or pain-like feeling on the thoracic spine. So, all these make very functionally inappropriate dynamic posture. Factors responsible for it are mental attitude, poor hygienic condition, general debility, prolonged fatigue, localized pain, muscular weakness, occupational stress, and faulty idea of good posture. Usually, these are the causes for having a poor posture, and we can treat it with the help of physiotherapy. Yes, so let's see the principles of re education. How a physiotherapist can help a posture to make a good posture of those who have assumed a poor posture. So for that, first of all, we need to know the cause. So the measures taken by physiotherapists to combat poor posture and to train efficient good posture depends mainly on the cause. If we know the cause, we'll be able to plan management for it. Not only that, we also require cooperation for patient to gain success in our treatment. Here are some of the causes briefly described with the management. Number one cause is poor mental attitude and poor hygienic condition. We can make permanent changes in such and we can make a posture good. Postural defects. Some of the postural defects lead to structural defects which may lead to strain on muscles and ligaments and may lead to create some of the permanent changes, gives pain and certain other symptoms to the patient. We can treat it by relaxation, mobility exercises, repeated presentation of satisfactory postural patterns, which all work together to help make a posture good. Third thing is general debility and fatigue, which we can treat by relaxation techniques. Then localized pain, which can be treated by physiological means, like many physiotherapy modalities like ultrasound. We can also use a hot pack, and we can reduce pain of the localized area. Then muscular weakness. Any muscular weakness can be improved by strengthening. Localized tension, which can be treated with relaxation method. We can also treat it with massage, manipulations, and MFR techniques. Then occupational strains. Changing required movement patterns and posture according during the occupation can help us to reduce occupational strain. And faulty idea of good posture. We can cure it by giving patient the idea of correct posture and by teaching him how to assume it, habituate it, and repeat it voluntarily. Let's see the technique of re-education. For that, atmosphere which we give to the patient during exercise and for the exercise is very important. We also need to make them understand the importance of achieving good posture. Individual instructions is must as every individual have varieties of posture to assume and variation in from the other. So individual instruction must be given. Sometimes group exercise helps these kind of people a lot as there are so many advantages of group exercises. Let's first understand the relaxation technique. Relaxation can be of two things, general relaxation and local relaxation. General relaxation usually assumed when body is in horizontal position as it reduces the muscle tension. Local relaxation can be taught by voluntary relaxation of each muscle. We can teach it by contracting the each muscle and letting go of it. Contract and letting go of each muscle helps us to reduce strain on it, which we can start from lying position to the erect standing position. Here are some of the poses given, like in crook lying, supine lying, prone lying, or in side lying. We can make a person how to relax. Mobility. Normal mobility is essential for variety of postures to assume, but abnormal mobility requires more of the muscle and which also contributes to poor posture. General mobility exercises can be given to the patient, which should be free exercises with characteristic of rhythmic and full range of motion. Exercises which also challenge respiratory movements are also be included. For example, hanging position, which helps maintain alignment as well as it is much more joyful for the children. We can see here. Muscle power. Strengthening exercises to weaker muscles. For example, if person is having kyphosis, we can treat upper back extensor and retractor muscles, or we can strengthen these muscles to gain strength so that we can improve muscle power and we can improve posture. Presentation of good posture. Actually, there is no ideal method for presenting a good posture, but a physiotherapist should have faith in the method she adopted. We must explain the patient importance of good posture as it not only affect our skeletal system but it may affect also other systems if it is not being treated or corrected. We can use feedback mechanism like from mirror, photographs, videotapes. By help of these, we can train static as well as dynamic postures like driving, lifting, sports, etc. Training static posture actually requires much of the time. Unless a patient becomes habitual, patient have to continuously perform voluntary action or voluntary efforts for that. We need to provide sufficient repetition and precision. We can teach a patient hold and relax technique. Like each and every static and dynamic posture, they have to try to voluntarily keep the posture good, that is to hold that posture and then to relax. For that, three important things are balanced uh, in erect posture, which are head, pelvic tilt, and feet. Head, head is in by how we can hold it, like by upward thrust of vertex in erect position. Initially, we can start with horizontal position and then we can go for standing position. Pelvic tilt. Pelvic tilt helps us by statically contracting abdominal and gluteal muscles, which helps a normal individual to adjust and correct the alignment of pelvis. We can start this technique from crook lying position, then for 4-point kneeling position, then sitting and standing position, which way we can improve pelvic tilt stability. We can also keep a hand or put hands on the ASIs so we can see or we can feel the tilt. Feet. Painless, mobile and strong feet form a stable base on which weight of the body is balanced and supported. Exercise of arches should be practiced. For example, in sitting, pressing toes to floor, standing on the medial and lateral border of the foot. etc. can help our feet to become strong. Thank you. We will be next continuing with the suspension therapy from first year physiotherapy syllabus. Thank you.